So yeah, man, Dak done made a lot of noise with the Texas coach. You know what I'm saying? He already know how to get the people going. So what you thinking about the blend that they gonna have? Because it's gonna be a blend. It's not gonna be neither this or that. It's gonna be a mixture of both of them.
Well, this is the thing that I think. We know they've used the word West Coast offense a lot, but what a lot of people don't understand, West Coast offense is really a very broad term. When it comes down to offensive play formations and personnel packages and things along those lines. When you go back to what the originator of it, Bill Walsh, when you see what they were running with Joe Montana back in the gap, with the San Francisco 49ers, his version of the West Coast offense relied on the quick passing game. The long handoff, throwing the ball to the running backs, checking it down to the tight ends, things like that, right? But it was an offense that predominantly attacked defenses horizontally. Well, Mike McCarthy, who was a disciple of Bill Walsh, when he went to Green Bay, his West Coast offense wasn't the same. He implemented more, four wide receiver sets. He implemented more vertical passing concepts within his West Coast offense. And then look at Brian Schottenheimer. He also a guy who considered a West Coast offense, kind of guy, runs a version of the West Coast offense. But his West Coast offense is predominantly power run with flood concepts, coming off of play action to try to get chunk plays. So, there's a whole litany of things you can do that will fall under the umbrella of West Coast offense as long as the concepts line up. So, that's a very broad term. And when you think that we got two offensive coordinators that have differentiating, styles of West Coast, that makes it very intriguing on how they're gonna try to blend it, because I don't think it'll just be Brian Schottenheimer stuff. It'll be a little bit of what Mike McCarthy ran. They had coined that as the Gulf Coast when he was in there in Green Bay. Brian Schottenheimer has his own wrinkles to West Coast. So I think that in itself will be a marriage. And then they were talking about marrying some of the things that Kellen Moore did with his digit system.
Yeah, I think like they said, man, the offense wasn't broken. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing we got to keep in mind. The offense wasn't broken, and they just gonna implement some things. What did Toba say on the interview? A detailed, determined fix. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
It's not broken, but it does need some fixing. They say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but it need a little tweaking. I wouldn't say it's broken, but it need a little tweaking. So it's only a few things that need to be taken out, like the what can I say? The
Option
majority of
routes.
the option routes and stuff like that, that's gonna be substituted with something else. That's clear. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a decent amount of how the usage of the tight end. I think that's gonna be supplemented with something else too. So I think it's the tight end role will be decreased a little bit more, and the option routes will be pretty much taken out altogether. Because Mike McCarthy was pretty adamant about saying that he did not like option routes. He said that like with his chest. I don't like them. So you won't see many of them. Now maybe that'll ruffle some feathers in the locker room, because Dak did say he liked them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he was falling on the sword for Kellen or not. So what you think? I don't know. But Dak did say he liked them. So I
Well,
don't know.
I don't really believe he liked them like that.
Me
You
either.
know what I'm saying? Like
He
he
don't like
always,
them interceptions, I tell you
yeah, he,
that.
he definitely does not like the interceptions. And this is the thing. Like you can run a very nice percentage of what Kellen Moore wanted to do without running the option routes, because the digit system in of itself is very good for being adaptable. Because within a digit system, the only thing you got to know, like some different offensive schemes, you got to know what the hell spider Y banana is, right? You got to
Yeah,
know that
yeah, yeah.
you got to know that's the play call. You got to know this is my set route. Well, I know I got to hear what you will do this, do that. Digit system, you know, like, hey, you're gonna do a 9, you're gonna do a 2, you're gonna do a 1, you're gonna do a 3. And like that, and all of these are just the routes. We know that a nine route is a goal ball or a fade. We
Yeah.
know that a 2 is a slant. 1 is a flat.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. So you can be multiple with that, because hey, you can change that on the fly. So, the defense was playing us like this whole time. Well, instead of doing a 9 right now, all right, you're going to run a 6 instead of a 9, and you should be wide open when I throw you the ball. Or, hey, you're going to run a 6 and you're going to run a 1. So if they do carry, you'll be wide open in the flat. Different things like that to give you, versatility to go up against these different defensive formations on the fly. Wherein whatever you call is in other systems, you just have to just stick with it. So there are concepts and things and terminology that you can take from the digit system and still be very effective offensively. However, his calling card was those option routes, and that did not really, in my opinion, that didn't really pair up to the digit system. You were supposed to be multiple. You giving them a little bit too much, because now you got all these routes. You got all 9 routes at your disposal, plus the option routes, plus the variables off of that. That's a little bit too much, especially when you consider you have to know all that for the proper depth of each wide receiver position. You got to, so it's a lot of things.
It's almost like going from a true and false question. The questions on the test, true and false, to multiple choice. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter. You don't have to go that deep into it. You know what I'm saying? It could be done with just true and false. You know what I'm saying?
And he turned a simple game, because football, like when people say football, it is basic core is a very simple game, but he turned this to trigonometry.
Yes, he did. Calculus.
Man.
And then like what's so crazy is when you think about it, we almost pulled it off.
He
overcomplicated everything, and we still did pretty good. You know what I'm saying? That's what that should have you bullish about this team, because we know that Mike McCarthy scheme is not gonna be as complex. It don't have to be. It seems like he just wanted to reinvent a lot of stuff, and Mike McCarthy understands like what works and what he need and what he don't need. He gonna understand what exactly is effective instead of what's flashy. He's going effective over flash.
Mm-hmm. And I do agree with that. So they already said they said they're gonna keep about 70% of the original offense in place. So I can really see them sticking to a lot of the things they did within the digit system.